Hey guys, it's Maddie from Let's Eat Plants, and today we are back with another recipe. We are going to make healthy baked tortilla chips and a black bean dip to go with them. This is a great snack option to have at parties or get-togethers, but honestly, I usually just make a big batch for myself and I'll either eat them with dinner or with this black bean dip I'm going to show you later, or even with one of the healthy cheese sauces that I have shown you guys on my channel already. Those will be linked down below in case you guys are interested. I do also like to make nachos with these, but that is a little bit more involved. So usually, like I said, I just make a smaller batch and snack on them myself while I'm getting dinner ready, or, you know, to have as part of my dinner. Because sometimes you just need a healthy, crunchy snack that is super easy to make. Also, it is important to note that we are making these tortilla chips oil-free, and that is basically just to make them a little bit healthier and to reduce the calories on them a bit. But obviously you can choose to use oil if you want. I'm just going to show you the oil-free options today. So first thing we're going to need is obviously the tortillas. Let me get those. Now, once I open my package, I like to store them in a Tupperware because it keeps them fresher longer, but I did save the package for you guys so I could show you. So usually when I go to the store to look for corn tortillas, I'm basically just looking for the ones with the least amount of ingredients. So these ones that I found just have white corn flour, water, and potassium sorbate. And these I actually found in the refrigerated section. So if you're looking at the store and you can't find them, do check your refrigerated section. That's where I always find them, and no frills. Okay, and so the first thing we're going to do now that we have our tortillas out is we are going to preheat our oven. Now usually, actually, when I'm cooking these for myself, I just use the toaster oven because I find that it heats up really quickly. You don't need to preheat it or anything like that. And I usually only make a small batch because it's just for me. So I'll only cook like 2 tortillas worth at a time, which fits perfectly into a toaster oven. So if you only have a toaster oven or you just prefer to use your toaster oven, it will totally work in there as well. But since we're going to make a bigger batch today, and some people don't have a toaster oven, I also do want to show you how to do it in the big oven. So let's go ahead and preheat to 350 degrees. Okay, and while that is preheating, we are going to prepare the tortillas to make them into chips. And basically all we need to do is cut and season them. So now there are a few options here. When you cut these, you can make them into really large chips by cutting them into quarters. You can make them into really small chips by cutting them into 8s. Or you can make them into medium size by cutting them into 6s, which is what we are going to do today. Okay, so now comes the fun part. We are going to dress these up with some seasonings. Actually, these are good to go just as is. Usually when I make them for myself, I just make, like I said, a small batch in the toaster oven, and I'm pretty lazy, so I just stick them in like this. I don't put any salt or anything on them. I really just like the crunch of them more than the flavor. So you can definitely do that as well, but I know most people probably like the seasonings. So basically what we're going to do is just to get them wet with some kind of liquid. You can use water, you can use aquafaba, you can use lime juice, veggie broth. And so once they're wet, the seasonings will stick to them. And then we just have our baking tray and a reusable silicone baking mat. This is really good for oil-free baking. I'll put the link where I got this down below in case any of you are interested. And so we're just gonna put the chips directly onto here and then sprinkle the seasonings onto them once they're on the mat, so you don't have to carefully transfer them or anything. So now if you want to, you can use a little tool like this. This is just a little silicone brush, but I'm not surprised if a lot of you don't have this, which is totally fine. You can definitely just use a little spoon to drizzle it on. I remember growing up, actually, my mom would use like a regular painter's paintbrush. I mean, I'm pretty sure she bought it specifically for cooking and it was never actually used for paint, but any kind of little tool that you have already will work. We're just going to brush or drizzle our liquid on and then add our seasonings. And you can do any kind of seasonings you like. I have some chili powder, I have some paprika, you can use garlic salt, you can use onion powder, regular salt. So I'm just gonna show you a couple different flavor combinations, but of course, flavor to your own taste buds. And now we're just going to pop these into the oven, or toaster oven if you prefer, and let them crisp up for about 10 minutes. Now you do want to watch them, especially if this is your first time doing this, because all ovens cook differently, and some people's ovens run really hot, some people's run really cold. So if yours runs hot, it might take less time and you don't want to burn these. So especially if it's the first time, just watch them carefully. And then after you've done it a few times yourself, you'll start to know your oven and how long you should cook them for without having to check them all the time. So now while the first batch is in the oven, let's go ahead and prepare the rest of the tortillas. Okay, while we are cycling those in and out of the oven and trying not to eat them all as soon as they come out of the oven, I've eaten like half the batch already. We are also going to make our black bean dip, which is super easy. Essentially, we're just going to take some black beans and some herbs and spices and put them all in a food processor. Now you can use canned black beans or you can use homemade black beans. I do have a very quick video on how to make black beans in your Instant Pot. If you guys are interested, I will link that up here as well as in the description box down below. So I'm just going to use some homemade ones, which I made this morning. And yeah, let's go ahead and make our dip. So now if you like your dips very smooth, like hummus smooth, then you're gonna wanna use a high-speed blender for it. But if you like them a little bit chunkier, then you wanna use a food processor, which is what I used. And then when you've processed it, just go ahead and give it a taste, and then feel free to adjust it as needed. If you need a little more salt or a little more spiciness or whatever kind of things you like, add a little bit more in as you go. I think this is pretty good as is. It's very, very limey and spicy. If you like it a little bit less spicy, then you might want to adjust the jalapeno level. But let's go ahead and plate this up and serve this with our tortilla chips. Now this doesn't have to be used for a dip. You could also use this as an enchilada filling, as a taco filling, just alongside with some brown rice or spelt or quinoa or whatever kind of grain you like. This would make a really nice bean for like a burrito bowl. So this doesn't have to just be a dip. You can use it in any other way that you would usually use your black beans. Now do make sure you let your tortilla chips fully cool before you try to eat them or serve them or anything like that. But listen to this crunch. Now, like I said, these are great for nachos or with the black bean dip we made today, but these are also really, really good with some healthy vegan nacho cheese. And I actually have 4 vegan cheese recipes on this channel, 3 of which don't use any nuts, and they are super, super healthy. So I'm going to link those cheeses right here. You guys can watch any of those videos after this one if you're interested. And of course, I will also link them down below. You can check those out there as well. And with that, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you're new here, feel free to subscribe. I'm making new videos every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And with that, let's eat plants, and I will see you guys next time.